Janet Jackson's emotional reunion with her niece Paris Jackson at Paris Fashion Week wasn't just a casual family get-together. It was the kind of moment that sparks headlines, ignites fan conversations worldwide, and reminds everyone of the power of family, even when complicated histories stand in the way. The world watched in awe as two women from one of music's most famous families came together in Paris in the middle of high fashion and flashing cameras and shared a hug that some say was years in the making. To fully appreciate why this simple gesture created such buzz, you have to understand who these two women are, the history they carry, and why their reunion is both sweet and symbolic. Let's start with Janet Jackson, a global icon, one of the most successful female artists in history, and the youngest sibling of the legendary Jackson family. Over her decades-long career, Janet has redefined pop, R&B, and dance, giving the world unforgettable hits and unforgettable performances. Known for her precision choreography, groundbreaking music videos, and powerful stage presence, she has never been just another star. She is the blueprint. Even today, at nearly 60 years old, Janet continues to embody grace and resilience. Her influence reaches far beyond music, into fashion, culture, and even social justice. Now, contrast that with Paris Jackson, the only daughter of the late Michael Jackson, a young woman who has lived almost her entire life under the unforgiving glare of the public eye. Born into unimaginable fame, Paris lost her father at just 11 years old in one of the most public tragedies in modern celebrity history. The world mourned Michael Jackson, but for Paris, it was personal. Overnight, she became the face of her father's grieving children, her tearful words at his memorial etched into collective memory. Since then, Paris has forged her own path, building a career in modeling, acting, and music. Her style is eclectic, her personality strong, and she has often spoken about carving out her own identity, one that honors her father's legacy, but also separates her as her own artist. Now, picture this. Paris Fashion Week, one of the most glamorous events on the planet. It's where fashion houses like Dior, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and Tom Ford unveil their visions of the future, and where celebrities from every corner of entertainment gather to be seen. The front row is as important as the runway, and every entrance is a statement. When Janet Jackson and Paris Jackson arrived at the Tom Ford show, both in sleek all-black ensembles, it wasn't just fashion. It was storytelling. Janet wore a belted leather top that combined structure with elegance, layered over flowing silk that softened her look, paired with bold hoop earrings that harked back to her signature style. Paris, standing beside her, embodied youthful edge with a daring slit gown, dramatic jewelry, and a look that spoke of confidence and individuality. They were both powerful. They were both radiant. And most importantly, they were together. When Janet leaned in and hugged her niece, cameras captured not just a family embrace, but something deeper. A bridge between past and present, between generations, and perhaps between wounds and healing. For years, whispers of tension between Janet and Paris swirled in tabloids and on social media. Some pointed to Paris's absence from certain family events as proof of a rift. Others speculated about disagreements following Michael's death. But Paris herself has addressed these rumors, making it clear that she loves her family and doesn't buy into the drama the media creates. And yet, public appearances of Janet and Paris together have been rare, making this hug feel all the more powerful. It's worth remembering that their last widely noted public appearance together was at Paris Fashion Week back in 2022, when Janet posted a photo of them on her own Instagram, calling her beautiful niece. Before that, most of the world hadn't seen them side by side since Michael Jackson's 2009 memorial service. Think about that. Over a decade where family gatherings happened behind closed doors, but the public saw little evidence of closeness. So when Janet and Paris hugged this week in front of the world's fashion elite, it felt like history catching up. Fans immediately exploded online, calling the moment iconic, heartwarming, and healing. Many wrote about how emotional it was to see Janet, Michael's sister, embracing Paris, Michael's daughter, in such a visible, affectionate way. For die-hard Jackson fans, it was almost like watching a circle complete itself. But let's talk about the deeper meaning here. The Jackson family, as adored as they are, have always lived under intense public scrutiny. From Michael's controversies to Janet's infamous Super Bowl incident, from legal battles to family feuds, everything has been magnified. This is a family that has endured trauma, success, betrayal, love, and loss in the public eye. And Paris herself has often spoken about the pressure of having every private struggle turned into a headline. So when she and her aunt share a hug in Paris, it's more than just affection. It's an unspoken statement. We are family, we are united, and despite everything the world thinks it knows, we still stand together. Janet's presence at Fashion Week also adds another layer. She's not someone who frequently steps into the spotlight these days. Yes, she still performs, still commands respect, but she has also embraced a more private life in recent years. Her showing up at such a high-profile event alongside Paris feels intentional, as if to say, I'm here, I support her, and we are connected. And Paris, she has been stepping further into the spotlight as a fashion darling, attending couture shows, fronting campaigns, and cementing her place as a style icon. By walking into Paris Fashion Week with Janet, she not only strengthens her own image, but also reminds everyone of her roots. She is the daughter of the King of Pop, the niece of one of the most successful female artists in history, and part of a dynasty that continues to influence culture decades after its peak. This hug also sparks questions about what's next. Could this mean more public unity from the Jackson family? Could Janet and Paris collaborate, maybe even musically? Could we see more appearances together, showing the world a new chapter of the Jackson legacy? For now, no one knows, but fans are certainly hoping. And that's what makes moments like this so powerful. They aren't planned press statements or carefully written family announcements. They are spontaneous, human, and real. Janet didn't have to hug Paris for the cameras. Paris didn't have to lean into it, but they did. And that authenticity is why the image went viral within hours. As we move forward, one thing is clear. This wasn't just a Fashion Week headline. It was a family headline, a story of legacy, healing, and connection. The Jackson family has always been larger than life, but sometimes it's the smallest gestures, like a hug, that remind us they're also just human beings who love and need each other. So whether you're a lifelong Janet fan, a supporter of Paris's journey, or simply fascinated by celebrity culture, this reunion is a reminder of the power of family, the resilience of love, and the fact that even in the world of glitz and glamour, the most impactful moments are often the simplest. And as fans continue to analyze, speculate, and celebrate this reunion, one thing is certain: Paris Fashion Week just gave us more than fashion. It gave us a story, a memory, and perhaps even the beginning of a new chapter in the Jackson legacy. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.